So to complete this activity, I need to use all of my knowledge of hundredths. I need to use one clue in order to complete the rest of the information. So the one clue I've got here is that it's 56 hundredths. Okay, well, first thing I'm going to do is fill in my 100 square. Well, I know that 56 hundredths is made of 5 tenths and 6 hundredths. So remember, tenths are like rows. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to do 5 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 rows. That's 5 tenths. Let me colour that in. And then I've got 6 hundredths left. So remember, hundredths we can look at as squares. So I need 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, I'm going to colour that in red. So that shows 5600. Remember, the square is 1, is equal to 1. So anything inside the square is smaller than 1. So 56 hundredths is smaller than 1. As a fraction, it's 56 over 100. This is 56 hundredths. And as a decimal, it is 0.56. Okay, so that's the first one complete. Now, if you're not sure how to turn a fraction into a decimal, if it's out of 100, then you literally use the numerator. So because hundredths are out of 100, even when it's a decimal, so 0.56 is the same thing as 56 over 100. Right, let's have a look at the next example. Right, the clue I've got here is the fraction. It tells me 17 over 100, or 17 hundredths. Okay, so I know in there I've got 1 tenth and 7 hundredths. Remember, tenth is a row, so I'll colour that in first. So that is 1 tenth. Colour that in red. And then I've got 7 hundredths left to fill in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Colour that in red. So that is what 17 hundredths looks like compared to 1. Right, in words, well, it's 17 hundredths. And as a decimal is 0.17. Remember, hundredths always have 2 place values. Okay, right, let's have a look at this next one. Where's my clue? The clue is the decimal, 0.2. Okay, well, that's only a tenth. So I know that as a fraction, that's 2 tenths, or 20 hundredths. They're both exactly the same. So I'm going to write it as a tenth. So 2 tenths, or I could say, let's just so we can see it, or I could write 20 hundredths. Those two things are the same. So 2 tenths is 2 rows, so let me colour those in, just so we can see what 2 tenths looks like, or what 20 hundredths look like. Notice how there's not a 0 at the end of the decimal. That's because it would have no value. Now, I could write it as 0.20 because it's 20 hundredths, but that 0 has no value, so I don't. I just write 0.2. Right, this last one, the clue is in the picture. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hundredths coloured in. So 7 hundredths are coloured in. Right, as a fraction, well, 7 parts are coloured in, and there are 100 parts altogether. So that's what 7 hundredths looks like. Now, here's the tricky part as a decimal. Now, 70 out of 100 would be 0.7. So 7 out of 100 is 0.07. Be careful with that one. That's a tricky one. So we know that here are 7 hundredths, but 100 of these would make a complete 1. So your job is to do the same thing on the next slide. Have a look at what clues it gives you, and then see if you can fill in the rest of the information. Can you turn fractions into decimals? Can you draw what the decimal looks like? And can you write it in words?